This is Drop and Drop Out, the weekly podcast where a mix of gamers come together to talk all about video games. Tonight, we were supposed to be talking about 3D platformers, but the industry is on fire, and we thought, why don't we talk about the state of the games industry? I'm your host, Patrick, and dropping in alongside me, the homie Jake Twitch. And Jake, how are you?
I'm great. Patrick, how much do you make a year? No, I'm just kidding. But things like that might come up tonight.
It might, sure. Yeah, so we got the homies in the chat. We got Noah, we got Coleman, we got Sirius, we got a 2-monther, we got High Score Weekly, we got all sorts of friends. We like to do our silly little, let's talk about these genres or whatever. And tonight's conversation probably might feel a lot like what would be an episode of Spotlight Games, I would think. Our news show on Tuesdays here on twitch.tv/drop-and-drop-out-pod. But it just felt, there's just so much happening all the time with that there is bad news. And there's also just like other really big things that have happened, which you could also put like under the umbrella of bad news. I'm talking specifically about like the price of GTA 6 has been announced. So I feel like this is going to be like a laid back, kick your feet up. We just had a glass of wine. Thanksgiving's over. Our bellies are full, and we're going to like maybe dip our toes into politics. But in this genre, layoffs and the state of this industry in general. Before we jump into that, some very, very quick housekeeping. Last night, right on this very channel, me, Jake, Kayla, the Friendship Design, my beautiful wife Rose, played some Roblox, Dressed to Impress. That VOD will be up on the channel, let's say within 48 hours. I'll give ourselves 48 hours. But it was a lot of fun. It was our first game stream that we've done in a while. But so if you're very interested in that, it's also on our Twitch VOD right now. And then this week, Spotlight Games up on podcast services and YouTube, and also JK Games on the JK Games feed. And I'm going to go ahead and announce, Jake, I remembered this right now. I think I wanted to do more of an announcement plan, but it's the week before the episode. I'm just going to fucking do it. Next week, Khalif Adams from Spawn on Me coming on the show to join us for a topic about 2D versus 3D. We're going to like put a bunch of franchises down, your Marios, your Zeldas, your Sonics, and say, what do we like better, the 2D or the 3D version of this franchise? And we're going to kill the other version, essentially. Say, if you can only have one, two play styles will, or not, it's not a play style. It's a, what would you call that? A graphical style?
Camera style? I don't know.
Noah, what do we call
presentation?
I was getting at the 2-man enter, 1-man leaves thing, but I don't know what to describe them as. So that's going to be next week. Khalif Adams coming on the show. Very exciting. It's going to be around this time next week, 8:30 Eastern time, twitch.tv/drop-and-drop-out-pod. So be there. Perspective. I can take perspective, D-Guns. 2 perspectives enter, 1 perspective leaves. That sounds like someone really dies. But so yeah, next week, drop in for that. And if you go to dropanddropoutpod.com, join the Discord. We're going to be putting up a little discussion question that we will work into the show, which will be very, very fun. Which we do have tonight, actually. So as you're here in the chat right now, obviously you can always drop questions in the chat. We'll bring in the chat when it makes sense to. But if you go to the Dido discussion channel, the thread for State of Gaming, I asked for y'all to like ask us questions. Like, are there things that you're interested in our perspective on that we can go through, which we will be getting to later in the show? Because I want to start with, I think the first topic that I think we are on the verge.
Hash it out with me.
Huh?
Hash it out with me. What are you thinking for first?
I'm thinking GTA for first, because we're
cool.
And my thinking for GTA for first is that every second we aren't talking about it, it is another second to not being important anymore.
I feel like that's probably correct. Yeah. But also, it's the lightest of the topics.
That is true. That is also very, very true. So it was yesterday. There's a few ways I actually want to talk about this, Jake. But yesterday, GTA 6, Grand Theft Auto 6, if you don't know the acronym, announced its price finally, and essentially kind of locked in its release date of November 19th, which is a question I want to ask. Is it actually locked in? But it's going to be 2 SKUs, Jake. It's going to be $80 for essentially the base version, and it's going to be $100 for the Ultimate Edition. Jake, you might be asking, what do you get for the Ultimate Edition? I'm going to tell you once I find it in this article. Do you know off the top of your head? I know it's mostly cosmetic stuff.
No, it's well, I mean, kind of cosmetic stuff. Do you want me to run through it? Like,
Run through it.
I've got the like just the Xbox page. Like, if you're
Yeah.
gonna buy Grand Theft Auto right now, which you can pre-order, which is of course why all this stuff was, blown up and got announced here the night before the pre-orders went live. But there's basically in-game items. So you get the 95 Grotti Cheetah, which is like a sports car, I don't know, Corvette looking thing. The Hawk and Little Morgan revolver, personalized weapon variants of a couple like pistols, the Vice City style, Jason's safe house vehicles, which I think are not just cars. I think it's like boats and whatnot too. The
Maybe a
Ganado retro
helicopter.
build, no, maybe. Which I think that's another vehicle. Another dune buggy, good time gear. Then you unlock something called a compound, which is like a gang functionality in the game.
Okay.
And this is where people are starting to like raise some red flags. Like there's actual like locations that are not going to be accessible or usable in the same way in game if you
Yeah.
don't have this ultimate edition. Classic car collection, ride out customs, which I think is again another area that you go to. Like that shop will just be closed for you
Okay.
if you go there in their single player game. Sarah's Unisex Salon, Stock 305, which is a clothing store, Electric Fang Tattoo, and One Eyed Willie's, of course, which is a mod
Of
shop.
course.
So here's the thing: is it's a laundry list of like little special bonuses,
Yeah.
if you will.
Yeah. And so there's been a lot of scuttlebutt on the internet, Jake, as I'm sure you've been a part of in some capacity. Of is the $100 version like the actual version, and the $80 version is like the poor version of, okay, you don't get to go into these stores, you don't get to have these kinds of items. So at a glance, like, how do you feel about the pricing structure of GTA 6 with what they essentially are giving us with this?
Yeah, I think I expected this to be way worse. I thought that there was a world where you couldn't access Grand Theft Auto for less than $100.
Yeah.
And the fact that there is a $80 version at all feels like an overall win. If it was going to be in the standard game pricing range, if they were able to keep it there, 80 makes sense, especially with, again, this is we're always talking about like the precedent being set. And I feel like a lot of people are pointing at Grand Theft Auto and being like, this is what this is going to do to gaming and the price of games going forward. Is like, well, Nintendo pulled the trigger first.
Yeah.
We have $80 games already for a year now.
Yeah.
Like this isn't new. This is just a big example of it, but this isn't like, don't kill the messenger here. This was already put in place. I feel like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not too scared off or anything like that. I'm in for 100.
Sure.
Are
Yeah.
you?
I don't know that I'm in on 100. I won't be surprised if by the time it comes out, I end up just doing the 100. I'm not pre-ordering it. Like I might pre-order it like when we get closer, but there's no need to pre-order it right now.
You don't need my money right
for
now.
anybody. But it's like, I think the thing that I've kind of come to, I've really stewed on it a lot. I've really reflected, Jake. And I do feel like Grand Theft Auto is getting credit for something that it didn't do, which is the $80 price tag, as you said. I think a lot of this kind of ideology or thought experimenting people are doing of like, okay, well, all games are going to be $80 moving forward, I think is also probably unfair in that, like you said, Mario Kart Worlds sold for $80. A couple other Switch 2 games have sold for $80, whether it's like an actual game or like with the expansion, like the Switch 2 version expansion, whatever. And then other like Xbox tried to do Outer Worlds for 80, and then everyone was
that was the
fucking pissed, and
wrong
they're
game
like,
to fucking
okay,
try.
let's do it for 70. But I feel like I'm surprised at the way that the $80 conversation has been going. And in a way, I'm surprised because I feel like it's the wrong conversation. I feel like the conversation is, this game is $100. It's not $80. A version of this game is $80.
Mm-hmm.
In that we're going to be driving around. Like here's what I'm really curious about with this is, what does it look like to not have access to the A1 steakhouse, pawn shop, whatever? Is it that
insulting, I think.
well, so is it that it just like is on, it's not even on my map? Like I could drive there, but it's just not something I can interact with. Is it something where they do a pop-up but it's like you can access this
That's
for
my
20
guess.
bucks? You think
Yeah.
so?
I
Because
think it's
that I
like
think is
deluxe
tacky
edition
as
holders.
fuck.
I mean, that's the world we're fucking living in.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking about when, well, I guess we're not, because it's not GTA Online. But if you look at the practices of GTA Line, something that absolutely prints money, these are informed decisions made to get people to spend money. So if they have a $20 incentive with this game right now, this is just an indicator for what single player microtransactions could look like here in the near future. I don't think this is the end of this discussion. In fact, it's just the beginning of it.
Yeah.
And I think that we will eventually, if you're playing Grand Theft Auto in like 2028 and you're recommending it to people, my guess is that there is so much single player downloadable content for Grand Theft Auto that is so pricey and insane that when people recommend what to get, they will tell you, just get the deluxe edition. It comes with a bunch of stuff like that, and then you get like a great starter kit, and if you want more, you can get more.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be that aggressively monetized.
Really? I mean, because I feel like the other kind of interesting thing about what they're doing here, and that I feel like, not that no one is talking about this, that's not what I'm about to say, but essentially confirming that this is the single player game for $100 or $80 if you're not interested in those cosmetic shops. So then part two of this, in my mind, this question is, what are they going to charge for GTA Online? Because so far, to my understanding, they have not said that GTA Online will be a free experience or that it comes with what they just purchased. In fact, if anything, they've been very explicit that this is the single player version of Grand Theft Auto 6 that you're paying for. So do you think that online is going to be another charge?
I don't know. It's tough to tell, but it's worth noting that like we know that GTA Online successor is a part of the GTA 6 development right now, obviously.
Yeah.
And one would assume that it is part of the package up until recently, but truth be told, they haven't really talked about it at all since GTA 6 got like publicly revealed. It was all prior to that they were said they're working on GTA 6 and the next GTA Online experience. But there's been no mention of GTA Online publicly from Rockstar at all. So at this point, we're in no man's land as far as what that could be. My guess is that no, GTA Online is not a paid experience.
You think so?
Yeah, I think if you have a fucking good drug, you give it away for free. then you start charging. And clearly, I mean, it's poised to be just like one of the most successful platforms ever based on the historic value that Rockstar is getting out of GTA Online's like existing thing. So when they launch that thing, I think it's all the doors are open, all the servers are up. This thing is a well-oiled machine. Come spend cash at the brand new casino.
Yeah. A couple things from chat. Mondo, first of all, asking, Red Dead Online is free, right? It is not. Red Dead Online, I believe, launched at $19.99. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's $20.
I want to say that that's only $20 if you didn't own Red Dead, and if you have Red Dead's Online
comes
is included
with it.
in Red
maybe
Dead too.
I'm
not positive about that.
Sure,
I'm not positive about that though.
I'm not either. Mondo also mentions there's 2 missions locked behind the Ultimate version too. I'm scrolling through the Ultimate version's upgrade list, and I'm not seeing that. What is there a name for that you have, Mondo? Because this would be the first time I'm hearing of there being actual like
I'm not sure, but
playable
even
content
still,
locked behind it.
Like we're acting like it's just so blown out of proportion. Like my Assassin's Creed 3 Collector's Edition came with 6 official missions too, starring George Washington. Like, I don't think that's fucking like novel. Like, yeah, of course. Like, lock a couple bullshit missions behind some stuff I don't care about.
What I'm interested in is, assuming that is correct, that there are 2 missions locked behind it, I think that pretty much confirms that they will probably have new single player shit locked behind money in the future, which is not really I don't think they really did that for GTA 5, right? Like it was they didn't go the GTA 4 route of like the Ballad of Gay Tony or the Lost Boys or whatever.
All of their development and all of their single player content that they ever worked on got pivoted into GTA Online's like DLC program, because like GTA Online is like kind of the sequel to Grand Theft Auto 5. It is its DLC. There's single player like narratives. You watch cutscenes with the original voice actors. Like all your favorite guys show back up, including like main characters that are still kicking.
Sure.
And it is an interesting pivot, and one of the biggest criticisms if you're a GTA enjoyer, like if you enjoy GTA the way that I do, which is I loved Grand Theft Auto 5 and I played through the entire thing twice and probably had a 70-hour playthrough both times. Then I dabbled in the online for like 20 to 40 hours and that was it. But I'm a big DLC guy. Like I would love to play a single
Sure.
player DLC like the Ballad of Gay Tony. We had obviously, I mean, when you think about it, Vice City and San Andreas themselves are barely standalone games with what we get now for development times in between titles. But GTA 5 or GTA fans that are like me often criticize that lack of single player DLC dropped as a ball dropped with GTA 5's release.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, so Chocolate Mango also sent me a link on Discord. I opened it and I forgot that IGN is so fucked with ads that my whole computer almost just like crashed. So I can see I'm like running at a delay on my own end right now. No, you're good. But it does seem like there's something. I couldn't find what it was before I had to kill the site. But so there is something. But so that leads me to another question that came from chat from D Guns. Is this just a new way of doing day one DLC without calling it that? And now for some reason people aren't upset with it. So do you think that the Outer Worlds is just the first thing that comes to mind, but we're never getting in Outer Worlds again. Do you think that a game like Fable could say for $70, you're going to get most of Fable, but for $80, you can have like X, Y, and Z? Do you think more games are going to go down this route or take a wait and see approach on what GTA 6 does?
Once again, in this scenario is not new either. Like none of this is fucking novel. Like it's weird that it's so blown out of proportion. Like there's so much of the game missing. And I'm the person, like I'm fighting on the other side, truthfully, where I'm like, the full game is $100. Just get all the fucking features that you want. Like, but I'm like that with Deluxe Edition for any game that has content that is paywalled that I am interested in. And truth be told, that content is often like something that I desire and would end up buying anyway, and I don't feel bad spending the money on it. It's like the same thing as something getting bundled with a season pass if I was going to play those maps online anyway, or if I was going to buy that expansion regardless. So I don't know. It's again a long conversation about a pretty standard industry practice. And to go back to like the very original thing that I said is like, I thought this was going to be way fucking worse. So like, I'm still very unfazed by it. The fact that you can just play GTA this year for 80 fucking smackaroos if you so desire, I think everyone's lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I think in the grand scheme of what I think a lot of people were theorizing, pontificating, whatever words you want to say, I do think a version of GTA 6 for $80 is about as close to best case scenario as we could have gotten. We're like, I don't think it ever, I did say on Spotlight this week earlier, I was like, you know what? I'm going to say it that it's just like your classic $70 MSRP. So I missed on that one, but I feel like $80 is not that big of a difference from 70. Not, I wish it were 70, but I do, I agree with you that I feel like this is $100 game and it feels silly to kind of call it something other than that, even though there is the $80 version. And I would be so interested to see if in, December, if they release numbers of like, how many people just spent the extra 20? Because I'm sure it will be most people, I would think.
Here's a question for you, and it's a question that'll lead into a broader conversation as well. Patrick, if the deluxe edition, the regular version was $80, but the deluxe edition was $130 and came with 5 days early access to GTA, would you buy it?
I actually don't think I would right now. Maybe November 17th. Well, that would be halfway through early access. Maybe November 10th, the hype train gets rolling and I'm like, you know what? I've already set aside $100. I'll do another 30. But I'm also like, I love GTA, but I'm not like, it's not like if this was The Last of Us Part 3 for an extra $30, that I would do. But I don't have that kind of love for GTA to spend that much more money just for early access. But I think if there wasn't the $100 version and it was just, we're charging $80, but for 100 or 110, you can get it early, I would consider it then.
Huh.
Not a total yes or no, but I would. But 130, I don't think I would do
Because that's what
130.
they did with Forza. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
$50 extra basically to get their Ultimate Edition that comes with the season pass and comes with 18 cars on day one,
Yeah.
and also comes with 3 or 5 day early access.
Sure.
And I don't know. I think it's reasonable, but it begs that question of like, okay, if $100 is the full game, we can take it a step further. And if there's a game like Forza that is offering you $130 for the full game with the season pass, with those day one cars that everybody else is getting, and that early access, it goes back to this concept that I've had for a long time now of like the game releases on the early access date, and
Sure.
you pay a discounted fee to play it 5 days late.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the way that I see it firsthand from content creation, but I also see at their peak how popular videos like that are for like a viral video game that has you know, mass appeal and people that are interested in playing it. And can you imagine with 5 days early access, the GTA 6 clips that would be on TikTok on day 2, and the amount of people that would flock to their console and drop that 130 like it was going out of fucking style?
Correct.
It would be
Absolutely. Yeah. I want to bring in a couple more chats before I ask another question about GTA 6. Noah wrote a couple of messages that I'm interested in reading to you, Jake. Noah says, if a game of this scope takes 1,000 people 10 years to develop, games probably need to start costing $200 for that to make any kind of rational sense. How many times do games like GTA 6, okay, there we go. How many times do games like GTA 6 technically get remade over and over in the course of a decade? Because the answer to any time-based question of development or management has to be, you had to make a vertical slice of this thing a bunch to find out what it was and what it wasn't, what it should and shouldn't become. It's completely unsustainable. So essentially the idea of like, if they've been building this for 10 years, this game has been rebuilt multiple times at this point, because there's no way that like what we're getting on November 19th, allegedly, is exactly what they started 10 years ago. It's just like 10 years, and especially in this industry, is too long of a time for to just like keep building on the same thing. So it's an interesting point of like the unsustainability in that regard of like with how much money this game has cost. And when you put it that way though, I am surprised that you can get this game for $80. Are you at all?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is like an industry specific thing that like it would break those norms so much, and it's such a wild swing to assume that somebody would like to pay 250% more than they were paying for games prior to this, just because internally they made the decision to make it that complicated and stuff.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
the vision has to be from the beginning is we're building a video game to put out a video game price. And, you know, things snowball and you get scope creep and things take longer than expected. I don't know what it was like in 2013 when they shipped Grand Theft Auto 5 and said, what's the future like for Grand Theft Auto 6? And everyone looked at each other and they said 2026. Like, obviously, like that couldn't have been the plan. But during that time, I also don't think that the plan became, oh, we'll just with every year that passes, we'll just tack an extra $10 onto the fucking price. Like
Sure.
that's not how this fucking works. Like you have to take your licks in that situation and hope that you're building a product that gets your return on investment, regardless of what the situation is.
Yeah.
So
I guess in a way though that it's almost kind of pointless to compare it to the rest of the industry, because they're in such a unique situation in that GTA Online has been, if nothing but a money printing machine. And of course, GTA 5 Online has had all sorts of costs afforded to it. And I'm sure like it's not been only net positive, but it's been fucking net positive at the end of the day for what they've brought in for GTA Online. I mean, there was that one leaked thing about like they were making something like $13 million a week or something on GTA 5 Online, some crazy fucking number.
yeah.
But D-Guns also brings in, it's wild that people don't, of what you were saying about like the delayed release. It's wild that people don't see it that way. It's a delayed release, which is why I'm against it. It's very exploitative, in my opinion. One of my least favorite ways that companies have found ways to get more money out of people is early access is literally, this is the real release date. Give us more money for no reason, which is something that at first I was like, oh, this is an interesting way for them to monetize like the people that care the most, right? And by interesting, I mean like kind of fucked up of like, because like my brother, for example, who is just playing through Breath of the Wild now and having a great fucking time. It's like, he wouldn't buy a game early access in that way. He's probably going to buy it in like 7 years. But So like it does kind of suck that it feels like so often the us's of video gaming are the people that end up paying the most for this thing because we're the ones that are the most excited about it. But I do have a question for you about the game itself. We've been talking a lot about like the circumstances around the game. Yesterday, when they announced the price and the Ultimate Edition, they also released like a shit ton of screenshots. I was showing some of them earlier in the video version of this podcast. We still don't have another trailer.
Yeah.
Well, that's weird, right?
I thought we would get one today.
I did too.
We're positive we didn't get one since we went live, right?
Chat. But no, I'm almost certain. They wouldn't. Rockstar can get away with anything, but they wouldn't launch a trailer at 9 p.m. Eastern time on a Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised not to see it. And the thing is that we haven't seen a single second of gameplay from that video game. Well, that's not true. If you were paying attention to leaks about 6 years ago,
well, sure.
we got a real good look at where GTA was.
We saw some pre alpha.
Yeah, dude, I love a really early development leak, like because we don't get those behind the scenes documentaries of what it's like making games anymore. Yeah. We literally fucking rely on leaks these days for the most part, and it's so cool to see where that game was at. It's gonna be really cool when GTA comes out and we can cross reference like that footage from 6 years ago, like at the gas station with like the alligator and shit. That'll be rad. Not that I watched those, but I don't know, man. I think that we get the trailer fairly imminently. They can't wait that long. But I also feel like we may never. The marketing is so specific that we may never get like a full hands-on. I don't know if we will have.
You don't
like
think we're gonna get to like?
I don't know.
This is GTA.
I don't know
6.
if we're gonna have like the
Vice City.
I don't think we ever get that. I'm wondering at this point if we even get the like. You know, it's April of 20 or April. Wait, no, it's this year, right? It's like fucking 4 months.
So October comes before November. Maybe you're thinking for October.
That's right.
Perhaps?
That's right. Okay. But I'm wondering if we get like a late August, like the embargo lifts and Jason Schreier has the story. I played 8 hours of Grand Theft Auto 6. Like, I don't know if anyone gets to touch this fucking game before it comes out.
People don't need to touch this game. I bet there will be previews for this game.
Possibly, but I don't know. It seems like they could take a pretty fucking unique approach here and just not let anyone touch it until review season. They were talking about rumors for reviews with, especially now kind of corroborated by, that's one thing we haven't talked about, is a code in the box, dude.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Yeah, we got to hit that next. But they were talking about being so serious about it that they are not going to send out review codes. They are going to fly people to Rockstar or to like a neutral location to play the game under supervision to make sure that there's like no screenshots or story plots or things leaking.
Interesting.
Like real serious NDA stuff just for reviews, you know, come end of the year.
Little non-disclosure agreement for the old Rockstar pals. I mean, I could see it. I feel like, I don't know though. No, I mean, as I'm saying this, I'm almost convinced by you of like, in my mind, I feel like it would be crazy to never show us more of this game.
Well, like, I do think we get another trailer.
Of course, we're going to see gameplay, but I mean like preview stuff or like the classic Rockstar 18-minute deep dive of, or like 11-minute, whatever, deep dive of like the main systems that are new in the game. Like they've done it for the last 3 or 4 of their major ones that I remember watching. I'm sure they did. Well, I'm not sure they did them before that, but like I remember the Red Dead ones so vividly of like showing us robbing trains and like that kind of stuff. I just assumed that we'd be getting it for this, but maybe not. Chunk Like the Mongoose says, I see marketing really picking up steam after Labor Day because you say we should be getting a trailer imminently. I kind of feel like if they didn't give it to us today or yesterday, what's the word I'm looking for? What is the return right now to drop a trailer in the next week? You've already had the headline of pre-orders are starting. Now the price. Now we have screenshots. It's like, why not wait until August or September to show us the game at this point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think now that the day has passed and the following day has passed, and we're going into, unless it's tomorrow and they're just doing like a big 1 week push for like record amount of pre-orders in a single week, then
Sure.
I don't think we get it for at least like 3 weeks until we can get like another hype cycle,
Yeah.
because this week has been pretty much dominated by Grand Theft Auto without it even putting out a trailer.
Yeah.
It's
No,
unfucking
for sure.
believable.
For sure.
How long ago did we get the cover reveal? It was like
That
10 days ago.
The cover reveal was last week, and
Yeah.
then we got that pre-orders would start today, and then it was yesterday we got the price,
2 days
or
ago.
was it
Pre-order
this
start
week?
yesterday.
No, it wasn't. No, it was last week that we got the cover reveal because yeah.
And we got the pricing and we got all those screenshots and
Yeah.
because that's all from the official website. Did you scroll the official website?
No, I didn't.
That was how it'll probably kill your computer. That was how when I woke up and saw that it was there, it was like the Rockstar website has been updated with this thing. And it's like a really clean website interface where you scroll through and you get a little description of what the in-game deluxe item is
Oh, cool.
and a screenshot of the characters wearing it in the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And it is prime time. It
Oh
looks
yeah,
really dope.
I will go scroll through it. So yeah, last thing on the GTA story is one that I honestly, call me crazy, call me a fucking slut for corporations. This is such a non-story to me personally. The game is not launching with discs. There will be discs later, but at the moment, if you buy the box, you're just getting a code. Or you just buy it digitally, and like it's all the same price. Like there's not a discount on digital like Nintendo has started to do for some games. What do you think about and like there's no date
Dude.
either on when we're gonna get discs, but they're coming eventually.
Fucking they announce code in a box and fucking limited run games just pulls their dicks out and starts rubbing. They're like, oh yeah, this could be our time.
That's so funny.
Yeah, who gives a fuck about code in a box, dude? I can't imagine a world where that is of any concern of mine. And this is the part where the chat will freak out and the comments will freak out, and everybody that's in like the small video game industry echo chamber will talk about physical media, and there's people outside of it as well, but that percentage is the vocal minority in such an insane way, just statistically at this point, that like, listen, this is like a game that needs to be so successful because it's so massively expensive, and they are clearly unbothered by this, or at least the good outweighs the bad. I think that this issue maybe affects it by like a couple 100,000 copies sold, if that.
Sure. I feel like the reason I especially feel like this is a nothing story is because we are getting a disc eventually, that they've said like discs are coming. It's just not going to be at launch. And I saw someone online, I don't remember who it was, but I feel like this is the reason, almost certainly, is that they probably were pressing those discs in another country, and now there are tariffs. And so it's too expensive to import them, to ship them, I'm sure. I feel like that's probably almost certainly the reason why, right?
That's going to be one of many issues. No, I would guess that paramount among them is cracking down on leaks. Leaks only happen because of physical media, and it happens really famously with these massive games. Like the amount of money you could make if you were a manufacturer working in I don't know what country, and you could just pocket a GTA 6 disc, and like the lengths that people would probably go to, there would be people that are doing scientific research about where these things are produced and bribing people to get these discs so that they can get access to it early in the whole 9 yards. I think it would be very, very involved. But I think that, and cutting out the manufacturing time and the concern for leaks, also gives them the opportunity to basically work on this game until the day before it comes out.
That's fair.
You know, your day one patch is now your day zero patch is now your day one patch, and you are able to get this game up to you're talking like an extra month of development time, I would assume.
Sure. It does frustrate me that another reason to open up the point I'm about to make, that I'm not surprised about this, is like this. There have been so many games, even putting indie games aside, like small indie games aside, there have been so many games that have not launched physically. Alan Wake 2, chief among them, like a big not maybe not AAA, but pretty close to it.
Oh my God. Alan Wake 2 fans trying to decide what they should cry about more.
Oh,
Alan
brother.
Wake 2 not having digital, or how
Oh,
much they need
brother.
physical media.
But no, but my point is like this is so not a new thing. Going back to what you were saying earlier, like this is a story that we've seen so much in video games. So I'm surprised that it's getting so much oxygen right now. But I think I hear like Coleman's saying that it's like very important for preservation, which is like that. Sure, I agree. It is important for preservation to have a physical version, which again we are eventually getting. But then Noah also making a good point that like at this point, a physical version is still just like a code for the game, like on a disc, and that it's just so it's like in a way it's still wasting.
Is anything in like the, I think PS3 era, yes, but PS4, PS5 and forward for like these last 2 console generations, like how important is physical media for preservation? I feel like it doesn't do that much anymore. We probably
like
have that shit pretty
unless
well
it's
preserved.
a cartridge. I feel like it doesn't do that much anymore.
Yeah. I think those days are over. I think like cartridges are important for like preservation of like obscure Super Nintendo games that don't have like original hardware developed for a PC anywhere. But so many of these things I think are.
Yeah. I saw your favorite reporter, Jason Schreier, report on a number, friend of the show, that 80% of people buy their games digitally. So like, of course,
like higher than that. Like, wasn't the Circana data like in the 90% of people that are buying games or something? I feel like there's PlayStation numbers out there. Noah?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't finish the point I was driving at though. With that is that it is a little frustrating to me, Jake, that we are cutting out the manufacturing costs, the shipping costs, and still not like Nintendo's doing it, but not passing that on to the consumer. That is frustrating to me. That is one thing that I will absolutely agree on in that. And maybe in this case, for all we know, maybe it is. Maybe it would, if it was launching physically, maybe it would have been 100 and 120, but we don't know that. So it's like,
I wonder how much of like the cost is like disc. Like if you break down what it costs physically to get a box into somebody's hand as like a game with a disc right now versus the digital version, what is the additional cost? Is it $3 per disc between how much it costs for the disc and the plastic box and the little insert of paper and the cellophane wrap and then the shipping cost, which I assume is
gas, labor. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be at least, at the very fucking least, $10. And like that is still then.
I think at scale, it's not that bad. My guess is like I would guess like $6 or $7 at most.
Sure, so 6 or 7.
Right.
And of course, obviously, that's in a world in which like the people that are touching that box are getting paid fucking pennies because of the way that. But it's like, yeah, I guess ultimately my point is, it sucks that I've been on the digital train since the PS3. I was saying the other night on Spotlight, I spent $120 on the Ultimate Edition of Assassin's Creed 3. I've been wanting digital from the time that we could have hard drives that are big enough to have that many games. But like, let me save a little bit of money because you are making more money off of me buying digitally because you don't have to pay for those manufacturing costs. Now, I'm sure the storefront is getting a cut of that, the PSN or whatever, but there's no way that you would make more money for me by buying it physically than versus digitally. But
yeah, Nintendo started doing what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I double checked, but Yoshi and the Mysterious Book was the first one I think they announced with it, where there's a $10 price increase if you want the physical version, which I think is reasonable.
I think so too. And I hope that
it makes me feel as a digital consumer that the price of the game is $10 higher and I'm saving 10 by buying it digitally. And that's a nice feeling.
Yeah. Do you guys says there's so many angles to the digital versus physical thing. The only hill I'm on in the reselling / the ability to lend / borrow games, no physical means less accessible for those who don't have as much disposable income, which is a very fucking good point of like, even if you're only going to get $15 trading in GTA 6 for the GTA 6.5, that's still $15. So that's a good point.
I mean, dude, that's a bad one because one of the, oh man, I wish we should go back. We should do a whole episode on this of like where it is now versus what it was back in the day. Where you remember the debacle with PlayStation and Xbox when Xbox had that plan for like digital rights ownership, where what it's like to share games on the Xbox marketplace going forward. And then Sony had their, like, for a long time, their most viewed video was, let us show you how easy it is to, yes, exactly, transfer games. And it's like Shuhei to
Atom
Big
Boys.
Dog.
Yeah.
Yes. Just exchanging the game.
Yeah.
Xbox's plan for that, there is a crossroads there where we're in a better reality in our digital future if we would have just gone along with that and not rioted as gamers.
Sure.
Because losing all of our value in a digital purchase does fucking suck. But it's also, for me, it's like the price of convenience, and that's what's winning out.
Sure.
Like,
I will say, though, to that point, though, that Deguns is making about the trade back system, we also have to remember that the used game market that GameStop mostly is the biggest proponent of is also really bad for developers, where, like, especially smaller teams, where GameStop is now getting 100% of that game being resold that is being traded in. Thusly, the dev is not making any more money on that game. Now, of course, they made the first batch of money, but just another thing to consider.
Why? It's another reason why we now do, like, we've had over 3 million players. Like, it's because it's like, you bought it used, or you bought it, or you played it on Game Pass, or you actually bought a copy retail, and those numbers, drastically differ as you go.
Trav Man joining the chat says, I'm waiting for the disc copy of GTA 6. So there you go. There are people, Jake, that are waiting.
$110 if you buy a used copy of Grand Theft Auto Deluxe Edition on disc, because you're going to need an online pass.
There you go. Very good. Jake, any final thoughts from you for now? We can always dip our toes back in, but anything else GTA 6 that we didn't cover, you think?
No, man, I'm hyped for GTA 6. It looks so good. Those screenshots are banging. There looks like there's going to be a ton to do. I think it's just going to be a fun time. Once all this hubbub is over and everyone stopped being so dramatic about all the Grand Theft Auto 6 news, and that's just a video game that everyone's playing towards the end of the year, I think it's going to be a really fun time, man. It's going to be a fun time to just be on the internet and playing video games.
That's a great bow, but I did think of one more question, and I want to know what you think.
Okay, perfect.
Is there any reality in your mind that we still get a delay of this game and it comes out? No. You think we're totally
I have never been so sure about a video game's release date, because what kicked off last week when they showed the cover art and announced the pre-order date is we just made a multi-billion-dollar investment in this game coming out on that date. Like, we just kicked off the side of fucking buses. I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be on a goddamn airplane. It'll definitely be at airports. It's going to be everywhere you fucking look. Grand Theft Auto over these next few months.
Yeah. Noah says the date's been locked in for months, and you're the only person I've seen with this hesitation, Patrick. I am not the only person I've seen.
No, not the only person.
I've seen plenty of people asking this question still, because, I mean, there's such a precedence for even a month before a game launches. Like, there's a game could absolutely
it's
still
the difference
be delayed.
between, like, a Fable that, like, on its best day sells 10 million copies, and Grand Theft Auto 6, which sells 500 million.
I do think Fable, and came and made a good point on Spotlight this week, that I do think Fable is the biggest proponent of why I am starting to think that it is absolutely locked in, is that they were like, okay, you have the fall, we'll take the late winter, early spring, whatever. But then, I mean, if that's when GTA 6 Online launches, then they're fucked regardless. David James 22, I've never said the number out loud. Patrick's desperate for another release date push. I'm not desperate. I'm very excited to play this game. And I am so confident in my Fantasy Critic team now that I think I can still win, even if I lose 30 points from GTA. But we'll cross that bridge.
It's not going to review that well.
What number do you think?
Like between 87 and 91.
Okay, so I mean that well. I mean, that's pretty fucking.
It's good, but it's not going to be like I don't think it's going to be a 10 out of 10. I think there's a good chance that it is a 10 out of 10 game, and that it is generational, and I think it will impact the world in just a massive way in video games going forward. But I think that, like, Mr. Gung-Ho 23-year-old just got a job at the fucking local gaming outlet is going to play it and be like, it just doesn't live up to the hype of Grand Theft Auto 5 at 8.5. Like,
I remember,
you know what I mean?
In being in the garage, summertime, playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and the experience was magical. This game just doesn't do that for me.
Wrong. You're just old and depressed now.
No, I'm thinking low 90s. I think the 91 to 93 range is what I'm thinking for GTA 6. came in saying he thinks like 97 or something. I'm like, we don't get 97s anymore.
Yeah, we do. Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild. Well, Tears of the Kingdom, I think. Breath of the Wild was, though, right?
Maybe. I'm just saying. When was the last time we got a 97?
No, it was fucking 10 years ago, yeah.
Probably not 10. Probably like 3 or 4, but I'm probably wrong. There's probably been a 97 since then. I just think, by and large, we don't get that good of scores anymore. Okay, next story that I want to talk about, Jake, is Xbox today. No, actually, no, I want to talk about Bungie. I think. You pick, Xbox or Bungie?
Bungie's fine.
Bungie's fine. Bungie's not fine, actually.
Bungie's not great.
Very not good, unfortunately. So I don't have a story in front of me.
Let's just go off vibes. What do you think the story is?
Well, what I understand of the story is about half of the studio has been laid off, which is about 400 people. Or at least I think it was Matt Piscatella, Blue Skied, that he had seen a screenshot or whatever of the call, and it was about 400 people on the call being laid off, which is absolutely fucked. But yeah, so Bungie essentially, actually, let me pull up their statement. But
you should pull up the one from Hulst.
Oh yeah,
because PlayStation put out like an overarching statement because apparently this is the first of impending fucking nightmare over at PlayStation over like the end of the fiscal year as it starts to rear its head, and that these like coming weeks are going to be a fucking bloodbath. Probably at Xbox too.
Herman Hulst. Bungie.
I think I might, maybe I hallucinated this, but
no, it's there. Noah shared it earlier. Oh, it's just on SonyInteractive.com.
Got it.
Okay, so I'll read this real fast. So this is an internal email from Herman Hulst, CEO, Studio Business Group, Sony Interactive Entertainment, distributed today to SIE employees. Should I do the Dutch accent? I shouldn't. Dear team, today I want to share a difficult update regarding Bungie. We have made the decision to reduce Bungie's workforce, affecting a significant number of employees, including most of the Destiny team and some Marathon team members. There are also reductions across SIE teams that support Bungie's operations. Those impacted at Bungie and within SIE are being informed today. This is painful news, especially for talented colleagues whose roles have been eliminated. This decision was made only after extensive discussion and careful consideration, and I want to provide some context on how we arrived here. Over the past several months, together with Bungie leadership, we reviewed the studio's long-term direction, development priorities, resource needs, and role within our broader portfolio strategy. We explored multiple alternatives before concluding that a reduction was necessary to align the studio's resources with its current priorities and long-term goals. As Bungie recently shared in its Destiny 2 update, the studio has begun a new journey following the release of the game's final live service content update. What Bungie has accomplished with Destiny over the past decade has been truly remarkable. The franchise has left a lasting mark on players in the industry, and everyone who contributed to its success should be proud of what they helped create. Marathon remains an important part of our portfolio, and we will continue to support the team as they build on the strong foundation established in Season 1 and 2, and as they work on incubation efforts for future projects. While it's too early to discuss, we are encouraged by the creativity and opportunities that lie ahead. Our immediate priority is supporting affected employees through this transition. We're providing transition support and, where possible, working to identify opportunities across SIE and our global network of studios. I want to sincerely thank every affected employee for their hard work, creativity, and contributions to Bungie, SIE, and the broader gaming community. I know today's news is deeply difficult, not only for those leaving, but for those colleagues and friends that remain. Please take the time you need to process this news and support one another. Thank you for your resilience and continued support during this difficult time. Herman Hulst, CEO, Studio Business Group. He did sincerely thank them, which I think is very good, Jake. Finally, sincerely thanking them for all of that they've done for the video games industry. This fucking sucks. It's total shit. And it's like, when does Herman Hulst lose his job?
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. That guy survived a fucking demotion.
Yeah.
He was the co-CEO
yeah.
for 3 months, and they're like, you're doing a bad job, and you've been doing a bad job. Go do a bad job where you were before.
Right.
It's crazy. Here's the thing is that I'm like not sympathetic like to Bungie as a whole, and it's not to like this isn't to like insult like the junior graphical artist, you know what I mean, that makes like pretty planets for the Bungie map, you know what I mean? But like the Bungie team and their mismanagement of Destiny in the past like 5 years plus at this point.
Sure.
The writing's on the wall. Especially, I mean, it was like 3 weeks ago that we got like the announcement that like Bungie is not working on Destiny anymore, and there's
Yeah,
no
I mean,
future
this
Destiny
news,
project in the works. And it's like,
yeah,
well, what have you guys been doing at work for the last 3 weeks? Like,
sure.
I would love to know the fucking vibe at the office.
Oh, I'm sure they fucking saw the writing on the wall even before that announcement 3 weeks ago. To your point, like it's been a pretty mismanaged group from a consumer standpoint for sure for a while. But then I also feel like in a way that also goes back to like the Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst of it all, of like, we spent what, 7.9 billion, something like that on Bungie, whatever. It was several $billion to come like be the architects of live service games. And what live service game has been worth anything that PlayStation has done? Oh, there hasn't been one.
Horizon Hunters Gathering.
Right. Marathon is the closest that they've come so far. And all accounts seem to point to that game is not doing super great either.
No, that game will be dead in 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, 2 years, that might even be a lot. But
I
don't know. I feel like this has been, especially if you listen to Spotlight Games or, any other gaming news podcast, stories like this have been happening nonstop for years now. And especially of this size. In fact, there have probably been not more. I was gonna say there's probably been more stories of just studios closing entirely, but maybe not. But I feel like we are getting to a point where I genuinely don't see a path forward where gaming is anywhere as robust as it has been in like 5 years at all. I don't know that I don't see a collapse by any means. But like, if I'm 20 years old trying to break into this industry, or if I'm 35 years old and I've been in this industry, there is nothing that makes me want to either try to break into this industry or stick around in this industry. And I've seen so many people across social media, devs and like people that work to support video games, like marketing firms, things like that, be like, I'm out. It's time for me to go. Like writers, I mean, like, I just don't see the point in being here anymore. So it's like, I'm genuinely concerned about what's going to fucking happen.
Yeah. I mean, we're on the right side of it. Like, gaming commentary and content creation is still, I feel like, the good side of gaming to be on right now. The only problem is if we continue with a focus on games, there might be less to speak about
Sure.
in the coming years if all shit goes belly up. But I don't know. It's a crazy thing over there at Sony in particular, but it's happening obviously far and wide. Do we loop in the Xbox stuff into this story?
Yeah, I think so.
Because I don't think on Drop In Drop Out proper we covered Compulsion Games. This was in the last 48 hours. Indeed, drastic layoffs coming through, and then looming rumors of studio closures at Ninja Theory and Double Fine.
Double Fine, yeah.
I think
have we gotten confirmation about Double Fine?
No confirmation from the other two whatsoever.
Okay.
Today was the first confirmation at all. The first rumor was that Compulsion was going, and then the second rumor was that the other two were still on the chopping block.
Yeah.
And the only like official thing is today or yesterday, jobs started getting.
Yeah.
So it's looking bad.
It is.
And it becomes a question at these studios. Here's the comparison that scares me is that a studio closure versus layoffs means that if you lay people off, I feel like you're dismantling a talented studio and team, and you're going to just, I guess, like eventually like absorb their IP. I mean, here's my question: is that why are we laying off at Microsoft Compulsion Games and a place like Bluepoint at PlayStation can just get shuttered entirely? There's clear talent at Bluepoint, and if they weren't worth saving, these other teams are in really, really bad shape. So why are those studios not being closed and they're instead getting layoffs? Any idea?
I mean, no, it's like, I feel like so in my life, I don't want to say too much about like the industry I work in, or obviously not the company I work for, but I see so much, and I'm not even speaking about my own company. I see so much in like tech in general. There is such a bad, and I see this specifically in video games, there is such a bad practice that is happening from executives of setting unsustainable goals for their companies of, we need to hit 15 million in revenue. I mean, that's such a low number. We need to hit 250 million in revenue, or that's a failure. Instead of saying we need to hit 50 million in revenue, and if we hit 100 million, what a successful year. Like, I feel like it's a perspective issue that so many tech companies are having, from my perspective, that then, because like if you think about it from the executive standpoint and from the business standpoint, the way corporate America works and global corporate structure works, if you're not hitting your goals, if you're not giving the value to shareholders, the value being the cost that you are giving us to have stock in this company, means that we're going to hit our goals, become more profitable, and you're going to make more money. So if we're not hitting these goals, we're not growing that number, then that's a failure. And so that's why they're like, okay, so now we have to cut all these people's jobs, because we have to find that $60 million somewhere. And the quickest way to find it is by getting rid of people. And so it's like, I feel like it's just this like perspective issue from where, you know, my dumbass sitting in this corner is like, couldn't we maybe just like be realistic about what the goals could be and be like, oh, we're going to grow by 4% because that's still growth, instead of we have to grow by 20%. And then, oh, we only hit 17%. So everybody's got to fucking go. It's like, and like, you know, it's not the only solve I'm saying, but like, I feel like that is a big issue that happens in this industry and many industries, that we don't set ourselves up for success. And a lot of the reason we don't set ourselves up for success is because we're throwing money at things like AI to help solve these problems that end up not solving these problems. But
Yeah.
it's so disheartening, I think.
Who would want to make 4% when you could make 20%, which is at the very top what people are thinking, and that creates a drastic like circle of like accountability where like the board is unhappy and they didn't make this much money, and now you have a bunch of suits that are going to tell their teams that they need to hit this goal, and then those teams are going to make up goals that are unachievable for the people below them, and then people are going to get fired, and there's going to be replacements on everybody below the board, and there's going to be a new CEO brought in to fix the company and turn it around, until eventually it fails, and you end up at either a different field or a different company that's doing better. And I mean, listen, don't come to Drop In, Drop Out Pod for the fucking answer on this, because I don't know how to fucking solve it. This is a world freakonomics problem. I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, sure. It just, I feel like the only solve for it, from my perspective, is to fucking stop corporate greed, but that's never going to happen. So it's like, if that is true, if I am correct, then we're fucked. And like, so, okay, all right, next, what else are we going to talk about? But it's like, I worry that I've seen a lot of people in the Discord and some people in chat today, even, of like, the future is in like the indie game, which I don't think that is wrong per se. But let's also not forget that like indie devs have been struggling for fucking ever to like find funding, and like, and now especially with how fucking bone dry venture capital is in every sector, it's so much harder, I think, for indie developers at the moment. And then also think about it from this perspective too. So many indie games. I think of like an Axiom Verge as an example. One dude quit his job, used his life savings to build a fucking game. He got lucky. It broke through, it sold. And there are a lot of stories like that. But then there's a lot of stories about people doing that exact same thing and then they fucking go bankrupt. So it's like, I feel like ultimately it goes back to the first part of this conversation, that like, why come into this industry anymore? And so then it's like, smash cut to 15 years from now, we're playing what, like a Madden where in order to agree to play the game, we have to give Saudi Arabia our social security number. And in order to play the fucking new Halo game, we have to buy 3 stocks from Microsoft, which are like $250.
You have to buy 3 Mountain Dews.
It's like, so yeah, I don't know. And yeah, like you said, I don't know the answer. It's just, I'm very concerned about the state of gaming at the moment, which is obviously not a new thought. This has been a very real thing for so long. And especially like the next thing we're going to talk about Xbox has raised the console prices again, and now like the worst console on the market is $500, like the Xbox Series S. So it's just like,
Patrick,
I don't know.
I said that I didn't have the answer
Yeah.
for this economics problem, but I lied, and I actually already gave the answer. Buy the $100 version of Grand Theft Auto 6 so that we can show everybody that we like good big games, and that's going to create. Imagine getting a job at Rockstar Games in like 2014. Oh
Oh, I know, dude.
fuck. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Just fucking
Yeah.
sitting pretty for so long.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking
And
god.
like, there's so like, especially I think about so many people at Bungie, like to go back to the Bungie conversation of like when you're acquired in any industry, it's the people at the top that make the most money. And it's people that have been there a long time that usually make a lot of money too. Of like, oh, I was employee 9, but I'm not very high on the payroll. I've just been here a long time. It's like, okay, we're absorbing your company now. And because you've been here for so long, you're going to get a 15% bonus or whatever. And then the people that just got here, you're probably going to get nothing. But then it's like, okay, now we've absorbed this thing and we've spent a fuck ton of money to do it. Now we have to be profitable immediately, because then the next time there's an earnings call, especially if it's a public company, now all of a sudden there's this multi-million-dollar line item that, unless they have planned for something else to make that up, it's like, okay, well, now we fucked up. And I feel like that's happening a lot in this industry too, specifically like with Bungie. Since Bungie has been published or purchased by PlayStation, they've been bad at making games and releasing games that are making money. Like,
Very.
as to your point, Destiny has kind of been shit for a while. I don't know that firsthand. I just know that from what people are telling me. And then now Marathon too.
You ever
So
try to get into Destiny?
I tried. So I played Destiny at launch. I remember I don't think I've ever heard who they recast Tyrion Lannister with, but I did hear his performance. Who was it? Was it
Fillion,
Nolan
maybe?
North?
Oh, I don't know. I was gonna say Nathan Fillion came to mind, but I don't know if that's
Oh, it
right.
might have been Nathan Fillion. And then one time I tried to play Destiny 2, like 4 or 5 years in.
This is why you know that Bungie sucks.
The rage.
It was the worst, right?
It was so like I think two of the worst experiences I've ever had playing a game was trying to play Destiny 2 4 or 5 years later. It might have even been more than that. And trying to go back to the Division 2 after like 7 years. And they're like, you go through this opening menu of like, new piece of content from 9 years ago, new piece of content from 8 years ago, new piece of content from 7 years ago, new piece of content from 4 years ago, new piece of content from yesterday. And it's like, they expect you to just like all automatically know everything. And it's like, brother, I can't fucking understand a single thing that you're trying to get me to do. And that's how it was with Destiny 2. It was like, the onboarding, some of the worst onboarding I've ever experienced.
That's how it is with Destiny 2. Like they still do the thing where like Destiny 2 will just like hop up on PlayStation Plus every year for a month, and it's some new fucking version of Destiny 2 that doesn't come with all the shit you need.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, I guess I own Destiny 2 First Light, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
Like
I do too. I feel. A couple other chats I want to bring in. So Noah, going back to the first part of the conversation about like, why would you even be in this industry anymore? He says, 34 years old here, who has been in this industry, and it's impossible. So it's great that everything I put work into for the last 10 years is non-transferable to another career. I'm sure that experience, one, fucking sucks so hard. And I'm sorry that's what you're going through, Noah. But I'm sure that like you are in a sea of hundreds, if not more than hundreds, which is like so fucking depressing to think about. This like art form and media style that we love is just fucking like catacomb at this point for people that have put their whole life into this, and it fucking sucks.
when you were a kid, did you want to work in I want to make video games?
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an athlete.
Wow.
And then my whole world crumbled before my eyes when I was diagnosed with
What
a
kind
disability.
of sport were you gonna do?
All of them, but mostly I wanted to do hockey and soccer. Those are the two that I played the most.
Wow.
And then that didn't work, obviously.
Mhm.
And then I got into theater from there because I could do that and be disabled. And then fucking losers in theater. You could do it. You could be anything and do theater. Fucking disabled. And then COVID happened. And I mean, I was already not making enough money doing theater that I had a job in corporate America still. But then I was like, okay, the arts, unfortunately, I have to leave now because I can't. It's just the ROI is not there for
Sure.
how much money you can't make doing theater.
Yeah. I feel like when I was a kid, everyone that I knew that was like a nerd was like, I want to make video games. And a
Really?
bunch of people went and did that. And that sucks that like your dream was like, I want to create a game. And then you get into the industry and it's like fruitful for a couple good years in like
Yeah.
the mid 2010s.
Yeah,
And then it gets rotten as fuck and
for sure.
overcrowded and everything starts to fail and crumble around you.
Also, Kayla says ROI triggered me. I am really disappointed that I used ROI to reference my personal experience in living, but
Yeah.
that's,
The ROI on living is pretty fucked, to be
pretty
honest.
fucked. Yeah, that's pretty bad. But, that's who I am, I guess. The ROI of theater is crazy. Yeah, well, what can you do? Now I do podcasting about video games, something that, in fact, I could make a lot more money doing theater than doing this right now.
True.
But we're growing. It'll, someday.
Mhm.
Yeah, so the last thing in what I'd kind of like planned on us talking about is Xbox. That today, let me see if I can pull actual numbers here. Xbox.
So wait, do you
new
like
prices.
Spyro or what?
It's fine.
Okay.
My 2-word review of Spyro is it's fine. My longer than 2-word review of Spyro is I bet I would have fucking loved this if I played it a long time ago. And I'm gonna keep playing it, but now that we're not talking about that tonight, I want to get back in on Dave the Diver in the Jungle so bad.
Nice.
But yeah. Well, I was gonna talk all about Spyro and ask you so many questions about Spyro, and now
Look forward to that in coming weeks.
yeah, in 2028.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, Xbox today announced new prices. I'm pulling from the Xbox Wire.
Bad place to pull it from because they don't even tell you the fucking prices because they're embarrassed of
I'm
it.
seeing that right now. Let's go to The Verge.
Isn't that insane?
Oh, I gotta be a member of The Verge. Okay, let's go to Video Games Chronicle.
Unfortunately, Kotaku had a good article. I clicked it.
Yeah?
It was satisfying. It had the list right where I wanted it.
Xbox prices. Because yeah, I'm not logged in, so I can't get ad-free VGC anyway.
Kotaku, I'm still working on forgiving you for your like 10 years of sins and bad writing, but you might be turning a new leaf.
Noah C92, Jesus fucking Christ. I would also think the ROI on living wasn't very high if I was looking forward to playing Dave the fucking Diver. Noah, do you like anything?
Fucking based rare Noah W in chat.
Do you like anything that isn't a game that 4 people have heard of, Noah? Like, Dave the Diver is a fucking
I'm busy playing
immaculate
race
video
car
game.
TCG.
It's like a 92 on review aggregate sites. It's a fucking unbelievably fun video game. And honestly, the fact that you don't like it is shocking to me. It feels like you would fucking love that game. But God damn it. I like fucking your mom and the whole town has heard of her. Okay, you won this round. Okay, the new price breakdown is as follows. Xbox Series X, 1 terabyte with that was very good, Noah. 1 terabyte with disk drive, $800, which was $650. Xbox Series X, 1 terabyte all digital edition, $750 was $600. $150 more is fucking so crazy.
150
Xbox,
for all of the 1 terabyte ones and up.
yeah. Xbox Series S went from 400 to 500, and the Xbox Series S 1 terabyte went from 450 to $600. Jake, the Xbox Series S, low key, today is kind of a shit console.
Dude, the Xbox Series S today is the same price that an Xbox Series X was the day that it came out.
Unbelievable.
Insane.
Yeah. And like, this is not, again, like this conversation has happened so many fucking times at this point. PlayStation with their price hikes, Nintendo with the price, like everybody's raising their prices. But this one is, for some reason, to me feels especially bad with how big of a jump it is. And the fact that, like you just said, the Xbox Series S, a console that famously games couldn't even release on because they wouldn't run. that GTA 6 isn't launching on. I'm pretty sure you can't play GTA 6 on an Xbox Series S. I think they've said it's coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X only.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm not
Please
positive
confirm,
about that.
chat. I thought I read that. Maybe I'm making it up.
I'm also just realizing that they completely nixed the 2 terabyte fucking console because they didn't want to have $1,000 Xbox. Dude. They would have had to.
For sure.
They would have had to.
Let me try to confirm. Maybe I made up the maybe I read something and misunderstood what it was saying. Is Grand Theft Auto 6 coming to Xbox Series S?
I think my guess is yeah.
Okay, they are saying yes. I think I saw an article that said only PS5 and Xbox Series X, and for some reason I took that as truth, and I made up that the Xbox Series S wasn't gonna. But also, like, I won't be surprised if that game just runs like fucking dog shit on a Series S. If Baldur's Gate 3 couldn't run on a Series S, ain't no fucking way.
I think there's a couple concerns with the Series S in general, and it's that
it's
it
$500.
seems like most of the Xbox. Here's the thing: is like when I'm down here, I use a Series S, and when I'm up north, I use a Series X. So I have like a lot of experience with these two consoles, and the Series X is so vastly superior; it's insane. However, I will say that my experience with my Xbox Series S has been overwhelmingly positive down here as like a supplemental console when I'm away. The form factor of it, I think, is really cool, and its optimization with first-party games, at the very least, has been extremely impressive. However, I'm in a fortunate position where if I'm playing something that's not first party, then I just play it on my PlayStation 5, which is a fully powered current generational console. You know what I mean? So I'm only seeing the Xbox Series S in its like best version, you know, playing even something like I played Forza Horizon 5 on the Series S, for example, which is like a technical showpiece, not 6, the one from 4 or 5 years ago. And I was impressed. I was very impressed with it. Absolutely beautiful game. Like, I'm not a huge snob for this stuff anyway, but it's just crazy that is now the entry level console is 500 smackaroos this far into a generation.
If someone comes to me, if they come on me even and say, what console should I buy? I don't have a single console right now. What should I buy? I feel like Switch 2 is like the only answer for me. Obviously, it's like, what kind of games are you going to play? I'm going to ask them, that kind of thing. But like in terms of, again, ROI on price, it feels like Switch 2 is the best solution because you're not going to get like anything below $500 anymore. So if you're spending above $500 on something, you might as like, I don't think I could recommend an Xbox at this point. Personally.
I mean, it's been a foolish idea to recommend an Xbox at any point during this console generation. The answer has always been to go for a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Just based on the console exclusives. And Nintendo is still a tough sell with like some of its limitations. I think that like the Nintendo console is good for a very specific gamer, but if like Johnny Nobody comes up to you on the streets and says, I got $750, which console should I get? The answer is still base PS5, I think, for all intents and purposes. Just based on like the catalog and performance and the whole 9 yards.
I think the part of that story that's absurd is someone says, I have $750 to spend on a console. I feel like,
yeah, you know what?
Like, that's crazy.
Fair
like,
shake.
Like if my brother is like, I want a new, cause he's just playing on the Switch 1 still. If I want a new console, I am not telling him to get a $750 PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'm telling him to get the Switch 2, which is, I think, the cheapest on the market other than,
right now, but going up.
Right now, but going up. Because that's still sub 500, right? The Switch 2, but it's about to be above 500.
I think it's $449 without Mario Kart, 500 with.
That's right, and it'll be $1,200. Says Steve.
When somebody asks you if you'd like to, what console they should get, you should tell them a gun.
Ooh, there you go. Very good. Very good. So yeah, that's I think the current state of gaming. Is there anything else on your mind though while we're here we want to talk about?
You have an Xbox?
I do. I have an Xbox Series X right there. At one point I sold my Series S to a friend. I gave him such a good deal. I had an S for a while, and then I got to a point where I was noticing issues. Is that helmet an Xbox? It could be. I was having issues with my Series S of like I would notice. I'm not a huge fidelity snob. But I was noticing it enough
Hmm.
And so I sold that and used that money to get an X, which at this point, if I was being honest with myself and with all of you, my friends in chat and Jake, it was not a good investment to buy a Series X and trade it in. I should have just gotten over the performance issues, and because like in terms of the amount of games that I've played on this thing is
I mean, that's
pretty low.
Series X is actually a very good investment. It's worth more in the used now than it was when you
I
bought
mean,
it brand new.
Sure.
So I would argue that you're wrong.
That's true. I could sell that and probably pay toward most of a Steam machine at this point.
Yeah. Yep. Fucking crazy, man. Prohibitively expensive.
Yeah. And then it's like, I know that the reason that games or consoles are so expensive is because of the market, capital TM. But it just feels like in addition to, I feel like so many people are scared or smart enough to not try to be a game developer anymore. I feel like it's prohibitively expensive to be getting these things for children now, which for so many of us, our entry point into gaming was as a kid. And plenty of people, come to gaming as adults, but you come to gaming all the time as an adult. But I don't know. I'm back to worrying, Jake. I got away from worrying and now I'm back to worrying.
Do you think we'd be in better shape if there was still like a different market for handheld gaming? Like for a long time, that was kind of like the budget option. Like I had a lot of friends growing up.
Yeah,
Like there's
sure.
a lot of people now that when you ask them about like their first console was a Game Boy Advance or their first console was like a Nintendo DS. And I just remember how many holiday seasons there were where it was like I was sitting there working at GameStop slinging DS lights for $129.99 retail, $199.99 on sale during multiple holiday seasons and fucking flying off the shelves. We don't
All
have
your
anything
homies were
remotely
like,
fucking
"Oh,
close to that.
I got a DS Lite guy. You need a DS Lite? I got a DS Lite guy."
For
Same as
sure.
Jake Twitch, and he works at the GameStop.
I got them in fucking white, pink, red, blue. What do you need?
I would think so. Like, I feel like for so many of us, Noah's saying that children don't really want them mostly anyway, which I think is pretty accurate. But I think for so many of us at our age, the Game Boy, the Game Boy SP, the DS, the Advance, whatever, there were so many handheld systems. And I feel like the Switch is that for a lot of people, especially the Switch Lite. But I do find it interesting that by and large, there is only one like true consumer driven handheld on the market, because a Steam machine is not for the average consumer. Sorry, the Steam Deck is not for the average consumer. I know a couple average consumers that have one, but for the most part, it's people that are like into video games that are getting a Steam Deck. And those other, like, I forget the name, like the thing with the little spinner on the side, or like the thing that it's now like the 3DS emulated. Like those are things like the average consumer is not buying these things.
Thor is the second thing, and the first thing, let me conjure the name. It's up here somewhere. It sucks. It's
Play something.
Playdate. Very good.
But yeah, no, it's iPads now. It's all iPads.
They do everything. Roblox.
Porn.
That's all you need. What else? And sometimes both at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's about it for me. I mean, if there's other things we want to talk about, I'm happy to talk about them. I just don't know what else there's to talk about at this point with the state of gaming, because it sucks.
What Nintendo handhelds did you have and what color were they?
Okay, great. Let's go through all of them. Very first one we ever had, gray Game Boy.
Nice. Same. We'll follow each other. We'll go
1 and 1. Sure. After that, I always misremember this because I feel like I remember having the teal Game Boy Color. But then I see pictures and I believe it was the green Game Boy Color. So then I go, did we have teal and green? But I don't remember us having 2 Game Boy Colors. Should I call Louise right now?
That'd be interesting.
My mother?
It's late.
Whoa, she texted me.
It's late though. I have a famous story about this. By famous, I mean I've told it on stream twice, and some people seem to care. This is exciting.
Hello?
Hi, Mom. You're live on twitch.tv/drop-in-dropout pod. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thanks. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. We're talking about our original Nintendo handhelds that we had, and I couldn't remember. So we had the gray Game Boy. Also, Rabbit128 says hi.
Hi.
And then I feel like I remember us having a teal Game Boy Color, but then there's that picture of me at Y2K in my boxers, and I believe I'm holding a green Game Boy Color. Did we have 2 Game Boy Colors, or
We had 3.
we had 3? What was the third
Yes.
color?
Teal, because I wanted teal.
Yeah, okay, so there was teal and green. What was there another one then, or was it just the 2?
Was there like a royal blue?
Jake, do you remember? Was there
There's
like
a
a royal
purple.
blue?
There's a purple.
It was like purpley blue.
But it was like kind of indigo-ish, yeah.
And he's saying maybe like an indigo, perhaps.
Yes.
We had an indigo Game Boy Color apparently.
Yeah,
Golly.
we had 3 of them.
How about that?
Wow.
Was
Yeah.
I guess were they like split among where like me and Andrew and Will have one, Jennifer has one, Catherine? Like how did that work?
Well, it was 2, one for the girls, one for the boys, and then I saw the teal one, so Nana got us the teal one.
W Nana. Nana was the best.
That's awesome.
And then other handhelds we had. I remember we had the Game Gear, the Sega Game Gear.
Is that that's the gray one?
Yeah, that's like a dark gray, big fat.
Yeah.
And then we had those. Jake, do you remember what were those things called? Where it was like the X-Men game, and that's all it was. Tiger something. Tiger.
Oh yeah, Tiger Electronics. Just
Tiger
little
Electronics.
handhelds.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, this
Tiger
has been
Sports.
Tiger Sports. Oh, there. I don't remember there being sports one. There might have been.
Oh, okay.
Okay, this was very helpful.
Well, not really. Yeah, you're answering it all. I'm just giving you.
No, I mean you.
Oh, she confirmed 3 Game Boys.
You confirmed 3 Game Boy Colors. I don't remember but no. Now that we're talking about this, I do remember the indigo one.
Yeah.
Wow, how about that? So then I think I used the teal one the most ultimately because that's the one I remember.
You used the teal one because it was the newest.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Nana got it for me not to play because the color.
Sure.
So then I gave it to you.
The baby got everything.
The baby got everything.
We love. All right. Well, thanks for answering and thanks for the lore.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye.
So 3 fucking Game Boy Colors. We were rolling.
That's crazy.
In the dough,
You don't tell your mom that you love her?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Not every.
Just because you were like not on air.
No, I've said I love my mom on multiple podcasts.
Oh, so you're okay. You do love your mom.
I do love my mom very much.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Very good.
Okay, so I got a little bit ahead of myself though. So the Game Boy Colors.
Yep.
What game? You had a green, right?
I had an atomic purple Game Boy Color, and then like a year later, when the Game Boy Color launched, there was only atomic purple and indigo, and then a year later they put out the Fantastic Colors. That's when they put out the teal and the green, and there was a yellow, I think. And I famously freaked out because my sister got the green one, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And I wanted her to take my shitty year-old atomic purple one, and I wanted the green one. And everyone unanimously agreed that that wasn't happening, and I melted down because I wanted that thing bad. And in retrospect, I really love that see-through purple Game Boy Color. I'm the one who really lucked out here, but at the time, I really wanted that new thing. But I did have the gray toaster-sized Game Boy. I did have the Game Gear as well, the dark gray beast. And then I didn't have. Did you know anybody that had a Game Boy Pocket?
Never saw a Game Boy Pocket in my life.
Only ever saw them at a store like once or twice. I remember being at like a service merchandise. I don't know if you know what that is.
I don't know.
Yeah. Great.
We never had an Game Boy Advance.
Oh.
Is it advanced or advanced with a D?
There's no D.
There's no D. Okay.
Well, there's one in the beginning.
Well, sure. I remember
Advanced.
I remember having friends that had them, and like I remember whatever the Mario game that launched on that. I remember being like so jealous. And then eventually we got a blue Game Boy SP,
Cobalt.
The Cobalt blue Game Boy SP, but that was
Beautiful.
like a friend down the street had it, and eventually we got it. I don't believe my parents bought us a Game Boy SP.
So Game Boy Color, I immediately was like, when the Game Boy Advance comes out, I'm going to be a Game Boy Advance kid, and I fucking was. I think I played every launch GBA game on my Glacier, because GBA launched in 3 colors: the see-through like lighter purple, which was called Glacier. There was a white one, and there was an indigo one again. Like a purplish one.
Man, I feel like I only ever saw Glacier. I don't remember there being any other Advance other than the Glacier Purple?
They ended up putting a bunch of like special editions out there too. You can get like GBA in like most colors.
Huh.
For those like wide boys, they're pretty sick. But then for Game Boy Advance SP, I remember at that point, a Game Boy Advance SP is a time in my head where I remember being really deep into like the EB Games and GameStop and Toys R Us like video game retail situation. Like I was tapped in. I knew that I could trade in my Game Boy Advance the day that it came out and then
Sure.
pay $50 if I only saved the $50 and I'd be able to get the Game Boy Advance SP on that day. And I was doing a lot of that bullshit. So from then I don't really miss a console. Like basically from that point. So
Yeah.
I go Cobalt. My sister also got it's right here. Boom. This is my sister's.
Whoa.
She got the silver SP that very day.
Hell yeah. What's
the
in the
same
cartridge
day.
right there? What's that?
This is her favorite game and my least favorite game. There might be a fucking correlation there. This is Super Mario Advance 3, Yoshi's Island. Super Mario World 2.
How about that?
Dog shit game.
Fuck you. Is that the same? I don't know the lore. Is that the same game that's on SNES, like a remake of it?
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
dude, this is the fucking worst. The game that you're thinking of for Game Boy Advance that you were really jealous of is Super Mario Advance, which is Super Mario Brothers 2, the Doki Doki Panic, play as Peach, play as Toad,
Yeah.
Luigi, Mario. And then there's 4 Super Mario Advance games, and each one correlates to another Mario game that makes no fucking sense. So
Weird.
Super Mario Advance is Super Mario Brothers 2. Super Mario Brothers Advance 2 is Super Mario World. Super Mario Brothers Advance 3 is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. And Super Mario Brothers Advance 4 is Super Mario Brothers 3 for the NES.
That's crazy.
What's crazy is that I can remember that, but I can't remember what I ate yesterday.
Wouldn't you have like 2 meatball subs or something?
That was 2 days ago.
No, got it. Okay. I do wish I had sniped what you ate yesterday. And then so moving on from there, I didn't have a DS, any DS variant. I never had a DS. And then I got a 3DS when the new 3DS came out. I was in like college at the time, I think. I got the like red and black new 3DS. Ended up not really fucking with it and traded it in for something. I don't remember what. Maybe no, it wasn't toward the PS4. I don't think it was toward the Vita either. I traded it in for something. And then a few years ago, I ended up buying a 3DS.
That's right. We've talked about
it was
this
a new
newer
3DS. I bought it from a friend. And now I have like a fucking great 3DS library now. When the 3DS storefront was going away, I was like, today is the lowest the prices will ever be. I have to go buy every game I've ever wanted now. I ended up spending like $400 on games for the 3DS, and a lot of those games are now cheaper. I played the market wrong on that one.
I had a DS, Fat Boy DS in blue on launch instead of the silver, which I loved. It came with Metroid Prime First Hunt and the weird little thumb stylus. Then I had a DS Lite on launch. I think it was just like the white one. And I eventually did some finagling at GameStop where I traded mine in and got a different color because they had the black and blue one that was kind of like two-toned, which was good. And then I skipped a DSi completely and a DSi XL. Wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
I didn't need a camera on my DS.
Oh, sure. Fair. Hey, you want to see Rabbit's feet?
Yeah, sure.
He just put this in the Discord, and I'm going to bring it up. But he sent us. Oh God, it's so big. If you're watching the stream, it's the entirety of the screen. That's so
Holy
funny.
Fuck.
His lighter blue Game Boy Color with his feet. Hey, Rabbit, do you like chew your toenails? Look at these things.
Whoa.
You chewing them things, brother?
They're well taken care of.
He
Though.
clips them. Okay. Hey, look, if you chew them, I'm not gonna judge you publicly. But
I just want to find someone to look at me the way that Patrick looks at Rabbit's feet.
Noah says, "Fuck me, dude. I'm eating dinner." Well,
there's grosser feet out there.
That is very true. That's very true. What else? Is this it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good show.
Great show, I would say. Oh, actually, you know what? I like unintentionally roped in some of the chat questions and things within the thing, but I totally forgot.
We should hit some of them if there's
Let's hit some of them for
topics.
sure, yeah.
I'm cool.
So let's see. We covered do we think that the $80 MSRP is going to be common moving forward? We talked about that. Coleman says, which of these is most likely? Jake. Coleman's, that's just someone else. The struggling CPU/RAM/fucking everything market will A, lead to a delay in the next gen of consoles. B, lead to consoles being $1,000 minimum. C, Sony and Xbox will subsidize the price of consoles but make their games more expensive, $80 to $100, to recoup those costs. D, the gaming market crashes entirely. E, some of the above. Please explain.
I think B is the logical answer. That's the one that's definitely coming down the pipe.
Consoles being $1,000.
The next consoles are $1,000 minimum, 100%.
Yeah, that I agree with, especially with Steam Machine coming out as $1,000.
Yep, and there was just a crazy news story, like a leading manufacturer of video memory. I'm not much of a computer guy, but someone really important just locked in some crazy 5-year deal to keep prices fucking insane for everything that they're making. I know that like the entire internet in the tech industry is in a panic based on like some crazy thing that came to fruition in the last like 4 hours.
Right.
It's bad.
And yeah, so like inventory is just like all locked up, which is not good. But I agree. I think potentially a mix of some of them, of like subsidizing the price, and I don't know that the gaming market as a whole crashes. I think it will just, I mean, in a way, like, isn't the game industry kind of crashing already? But I don't know. So I don't know that it crashes entirely, but I do think that a mixture of those most likely. That is unfortunately way too much to read. I don't know where to even begin. Respectfully, you know what? I'm going to own that I could have gone through this earlier, but now there's too much to read for me to actually bring questions from. So we're going to stop there.
Love that.
Next time I will be better and read through Samson's long response and actually pull questions from it. But next time. Jake, what can we tell the good people at home right now as we start to wind down the podcast?
What can we tell them? I don't know.
Yeah. Rabbit has come. That's something.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good one.
Cursed Star Fox stream tomorrow. Are you going to stream Star Fox?
Yeah, I just ordered that camera, the Switch 2 camera, because you can do the like avatar thing where they'll make you a Star Fox character and like augmented reality you. I think it's going to be really cursed. I'm going to say some really foul things as Nintendo characters tomorrow.
Very good. I think I'm going to maybe stream this weekend because I'm home alone all weekend. And maybe you and I stream something together. So you might as well follow Drop In Drop Out Pod to do that. I just bought and downloaded the Sims 2 Legacy Collection. I opened it up for 5 seconds and it was so overwhelming and it didn't look like what I remembered. I think they updated the UI. And I immediately was like, ooh, this is not a good start. So probably won't stream that. At least not yet.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember any Sims 2 cheats?
I remember obviously Rosebud, like everybody remembers that. And then I remember you would do
Motherload.
What was Motherload?
I don't know. It's something though.
Great. I would do the thing where it was like semicolon, comma, semicolon, comma, semicolon, comma. That would like make the money thing go exponentially higher. So you'd get like $1 million instead of just 1,000. Sims 2 was the alien ones, right? That was one of the expansions, which I never knew about until today. I never knew that there was aliens in the Sims 2 until today. But there's a whole expansion where you can go to like the desert and you can be a family of aliens.
You know what you should stream? The Herbs Sims in the City.
Ooh. That one not on this Legacy Collection, I don't believe, but that's if I can find it. Possibly. Noah says, positive note to end on. Despite all the terrible shit, there are still lots of good games coming out and things to be excited about in the space. That's a very good point. I mean, especially this year. We said it at the top of the show, I mean, GTA 6, but there's so many amazing games that are still coming out this year that we're going to be covering right here on twitch.tv/dropin/dropoutpod. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Tell your friends if you enjoy and want them in the chat that they can come join us every Thursday night at 8:30 Eastern time. And next week, as I said, Khalif Adams coming on the show. We're going to be talking about 2D versus 3D with our favorite franchises. We're going to have to pick, do we want them to be forever from here the 2D version or the 3D version. It's going to be very fun. And then Tuesday, who knows what we're going to do on Spotlight? We'll probably do a fun episode on Spotlight on Tuesday because we just covered a lot of Spotlight content for next week. But I think it was better to do it today. It's more prescient. Is that the right use of that word? It's more topical today. So I like that we did this. But for now, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. D-Guns, Rabbit, Noah, Cirrus, Colemine, so many people that were in the chat all day today. Very, very good. We will see you next time. Until then, bye-bye.